Hey guys, Doug Giles here, little Warriors and Wildmen treatment for you. Ephesians 6, Paul says to be strong in the Lord and the power of His might, and that we're to put on the full armor of God so that we can take our stand against the devil's schemes. He said our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. And you thought coming to Jesus was going to be like a walk in the park. Well, you know what? You were wrong, Colonel Sanders. We're going to have enemies. And you know what? I don't think it's all that bad. I think there's great benefits in having enemies. So let's talk about it, shall we? And today's podcast. Now, Paul made it clear in Ephesians 6, our fight is with demonic hordes that govern the planet. Check it out. In the Garden of Eden, you got a perfect environment. Birds chirping, raccoons are high-fiving, everybody's jolly, the deer and the antelope are leaping and playing together. There's no sin. Adam hasn't fallen yet. And you know what? There's the serpent. There's the adversary. He was already in the garden when God placed Adam there. That's not nice of Jesus. Well, it could be if you want greatness and character. Check this out. An adversary or an opponent is vital to your success. And there's huge benefits. I'm talking big. I'm talking like Oprah-sized benefits to facing and overcoming an adversary. What do I mean? Well, little dinky, pull out your notepad. I'll tell you what I mean. Number one, enemies create movement. Your present will become permanent without you having an enemy to goad you out of that rut. Think about it. Israel would have stayed in frickin' Egypt, man, listening to the Bengals singing Walk Like an Egyptian, had not Pharaoh made it necessary for them to leave. Number two, enemies unlock your imagination. I can't remember who said it. I don't know if it was Ho Chi Minh or Samuel Johnson, but somebody famous did. And I'm gonna repeat it right now. Maybe I'll claim it later. Nothing focuses the mind like the thought of getting killed. Yeah. Number three, enemies expose your weaknesses. If you don't know what your weaknesses are, then you know what? The devil will show them to you. Yeah. Number four, enemies are the gateway to significance. Here's what I mean. When you run from your enemy, when you run from the adversary, then you delay your promotion. Your significance is determined by the enemy you choose to conquer. And you know what? God loves His children equally, so everyone gets an enemy. From what I've learned growing up here in Tejas, man, watching some rodeos, is that rodeo bull riders know that you get more points when you defeat or ride for 8 seconds a bull versus a stupid old grass-munching cow. And I've also noticed in regards to hunting is that there's a big difference between shooting a deer from a heated blind while it's munching corn at 6:30 in the morning, just getting his breakfast. There's a big difference between that and stopping a lion that's coming to kill you, at close range. There's a big difference between catching a nice little crappie, a little 1-pounder, little pan-sized crappie, and catching a 502-pound, 109-inch, 69-inch girth bull shark on light tackle. Big difference because a way different adversary. Bigger promotion with a high-risk enemy. Remember, big enemy, big payoff. Now, here's something that we like. We like our friends. We like our having Ross and Chandler and Sheldon and Kuthar Polly. We love our friends. You know the reason why we love our friends? Well, they create comfort. But you know what? Your enemies create promotion. Oh, yeah. You and I wouldn't even know David in the Bible if it weren't for Goliath. When Goliath showed up, guess what was offered to David? Promotion. And David, unlike Saul and the others, as a teenager, he went for it. Check it out. The kind of enemy that you overcome determines the kind of reward you're going to receive in life. Adam had a big opponent in Genesis 3. He had a serpent that was subtle, and he blew it. Jesus, on the other hand, when he came, he dealt with the serpent right after his baptism, and ultimately on the cross and the resurrection, and he defeated him. And guess what? I think he's sitting at the right hand of the Father right now. Yeah, big opponent, big spoils. If we're going to do something great for God, then you know what? We got to get ready. If you're like, I've got a destiny, I've got a purpose, and God's going to really use me, well, you know what? Then get ready for some big zombies. And Christians don't like that, man. Christians don't like fighting. Yeah, squishy Christians. To fight an adversary, to overcome a trial, a difficulty, some kind of junk that gets tossed in your plate, that has all the appeal of French kissing your aunt with the mustache. Paul said in 1 Corinthians 16, he said, I've got an open door. And everybody's like, hooray, go Paul, go. Paul said, I've got an open door, and you know what? I got a lot of adversaries also. New levels, new devils. Moses and Joshua lead Israel to the promised land, and guess what the promised land's filled with, kiddies? Giants. Before it's theirs, before Israel gets it, they got to take out some of the giants who've been living there for many moons. I don't know about you, but if I've been living in some place for a long time, now I've got all my flower beds picked out, and I got everything landscaped, my house is decorated like I like it. If somebody tells me to leave, I'm not going to leave too willingly. I'm not going to be chipper about it. You're going to have to force me out, and this is Texas, and you know how we roll. A lot of people are saying, well, didn't God say that Israel already had the land given to him? Yeah, he did say that. Legally, it's yours, but you know what? You got to possess it, so enjoy. That means you got to fight. That means that's exactly why, God gave you armor, told you to resist the devil, told you to bind stuff on earth, bind it in heaven, told you to fight the good fight of faith, because you're not going to get what God has for you in life relationally, from a business standpoint or ministry, unless you get scrappy. You understand that? It ain't nice, but you know what? It's the way life is, Cha-Cha, and God told you so. I don't know who sold you some kind of carefree smack, but that's not what Jesus and his boys were touting back in the day, and it's not what's in Holy Writ. Everywhere God brings you, there's going to be enemies that you got to displace who occupy your space. The presence of an enemy means the presence of promotion has come your way if you play it right. Let me say that again, because that was quite profound. The presence of an enemy, are you listening, means the presence of promotion has come your way if you play it right. So, here's to playing it right. I'm praying for you. You pray for me. When the enemy comes, that we handle it in the power of God's might and not in our own flesh. Hey, this is Doug Giles. Thanks for listening to Warriors and Wild Men. Get my best-selling book, Pussification, The Effeminization of the American Male. Oh my gosh, it's delicious. If you'd like to bring the Pussification Tour to your men's group or your gathering of snowflakes, drop me a line at clash@clashdaily.com. Stay rowdy.